Good morning, welcome to the first day of the rest of your life, because every day is your birthday if you choose to celebrate life every day. And why wouldn't you? Some of you who are, well, you wouldn't notice from this particular angle, but if I flip the camera around you may recognise this this area from a previous video. So over there I was down the bottom of those stairs for a while, and the water, and you remember this sea barrier over here, the water was up to about there. So I'd be underwater right now, and I was talking about this house roof that was odd, and I was like, what the heck's that going on there? So I came to this beach today, and of course the tide is out, as you can see. Tide is out. But it is coming in. So I thought I'd come down here and check it out, and sure enough, here it is. However, I did catch my leg on the rocks, and there's been a little bit of blood. I don't know if you can see that. Let me just flip that around. Flip that around. Can you see that? There you go. Ooh. Sorry if you're a bit squeamish about blood. It's only a little scratch, it's like a little graze. But yeah, a bit of blood coming out of that. It'll be fine. It doesn't hurt. It stings a little bit, but that's about it. Anyway, happy birthday, everybody. Hey, so today I'm going to talk about digital body language, which is the Blinkist book of the day today. I should have started with that, of course, as usual. I'm not very good at these things. I'm not very good at these things. That's negative body language. Negative language. I don't need to say negative language. I haven't completely nailed this stuff yet. Oh, don't do the video thing. I've seen a little interesting rock down here. There's clearly a bit of building, a bit of human bricks and stuff going on there that has been worn down over the years into a nice little bit of brick there. Quite fun. Digital body language, yes, about recognising body language online, which I think is fantastic. Today's Blinkist book of the day is all about that, but it's more about some other stuff on there, like punctuation marks and how to deal with online stuff. I want to talk today a little bit about, and I did find a little place to put my camera, so I will do that now. A little bit about how we interpret other people's messages. There was a particularly good story. Let me just see if I can get that balance on there. Yeah, there was a particularly good story in the. Could have done it easier this way, couldn't I? Showing you the guide. There was a particularly good story on the. Oops, daisies. Oops, daisies. Anybody watch Notting Hill? Yeah. Let's see if I can stick that there. Come on. It's fine earlier. Why won't that stay? Oh, right, forget it. Sod it. I haven't got time for this nonsense. Yes, I wanted to talk about how we read messages and text messages and emails and so forth, and how it affects our mental health to a certain extent. There was a particularly good story in the Blinkist book of the day today. It was about a couple who were having this argument over text, and it was going on for ages and hours, and they were chatting backwards and forwards. And at the end, and I can't remember whether it was the man or the woman who said, "Right, are we through?" And the other person said, "Yes." And then later on that evening, the person who said, "Are we through?" got him back in touch with the other person and said, "Why didn't you turn up for dinner like we'd arranged?" I think you can probably understand what happened here. When, let's just say he said, "Are we through?" He meant, "Are we through with the argument? Are we finished with this argument? Can we move on now?" And obviously the woman, let's just assume it's the woman, said, or the other partner. Could be two men, who knows? Or two women, for that matter. The other partner said, "Oh, I thought you meant we're through with our relationship." And so yes, so when you read that, so are we through? That could be interpreted as, are we through as in how we finished the argument, or it could be, are we through with our relationship? And obviously one of them took it that way and the other one took it the other way. So very much misinterpretations going on there. And the way I always talk about this is that we read text with the emotions that we have at the time when we read the text. So if we are angry, we will read the text with an angry slant on it. If we're sad or upset, we will read the text with a sad or upset slant to the text. So we will, if we feel like somebody's having a go at us and then they send us a message, they will think, that person is having a go at us. And they will interpret it. I do it as well. We will interpret it with the emotions that are inside our heads, rather than looking at it in the sort of cold facts light of day, and perhaps even try to imagine how the other person is feeling when they sent it. What was the emotions that they had when they sent that message? What was their intent? Now that's a really tricky one, particularly for me to understand. I don't know how many people know this, but I'm quite high on the autism spectrum. Well, high. I'm above normal, heading towards Asperger's. Anyway, basically, if you measure me on Asperger's, I'm like 1 point below the Asperger's signalers. But of course, that does mean that from a normal curve perspective, I'm up this end of the curve, as opposed to sort of in the middle of the normal curve, which does mean that I have problems with a little thing called social imagination, which is understanding how other people might feel in certain circumstances and certain situations. I really struggle with trying to imagine how some random person who I don't know anything about will feel about a certain situation, which is why I struggle with marketing so much. A lot of people say to me, oh, it's just easy, you just put yourself in the shoes of the other person. Well, yeah, that's fine if you haven't got this autism trait that struggles with social imagination. So I think to myself, I don't know, would the person like that? Would they not like that? I don't know. How would I know? How would I know what they would like and what they wouldn't like? How would I know how they're feeling when they read this message? I don't really know. I don't understand. And quite often I'll get it wrong. I get it wrong in person fair few times. So if you've met me in person, you've chatted to me a few times, you'll know that there'll be times when I come out with things and you just go, well, that's a bit blunt. And it's just me being honest and open and saying what's on my mind, rather than trying to adjust what I'm about to say to try and make the other person feel better or nicer or less upset about the thing that I'm about to say, because I don't know if they're going to take it badly, because I wouldn't take it badly. This is the point. If somebody says something negative not negative to me, but something to me that other people might take as offensive, for example, I won't take it as offensive. I will just take it as truth. I will take it as, okay, so that's their belief about that situation, so that's fine. It doesn't have to negatively affect me. It's not I don't know how to explain this really. I can think of a particular example, and I can't think of one off the top of my head right now. But the idea is anyway that I don't, just generally speaking, I don't get offended when people say stuff. It's like, well, you just said that. I don't get offended by that. Why would I get offended by that? That's just how you're feeling, and that's the thing that you said. Now we deal with it. The quote I use on a regular basis, the Jack Sparrow quote from Pirates of the Caribbean. The problem is not the problem. The problem is your attitude towards the problem. And I just say, okay, well, there's a problem, and my attitude is, how do we solve this problem? Anyway, so when I'm reading an email, I just think to myself, well, what are the cold hard facts going on here? I try not to read it with the emotions that I'm feeling at the time. I try to read it with cold hard facts. Or a text message, the same thing. I'm just reading the facts. I'm not trying to interpret behind the facts, which of course then also leads me to struggling sometimes when people are not telling me all the facts. So they're saying, oh, well, you should have understood that that's what I really meant. I'm like, well, just say what you really mean. Don't give me this wishy-washy, you should have understood it. You should have been able to read between the lines. Why don't just tell me what you're feeling? Oh, they're not telling me what I'm feeling because they have got the social imagination thing that makes them think I better change my reaction so that it makes the other person feel okay about it. And that's always really super tricky for me to do. And even understand the other way around as well. Anyway, that's kind of all I wanted to say. I'm on the deadline again on a Wednesday. I've just been having a text message conversation with a friend of mine, and that's what's delayed me today, which has really frustrated a little bit. And she misunderstood something I said a couple of days ago as well. So it just goes to show, doesn't it? Anyway, the point being is that when you're doing text messages on a digital environment, recognise the fact that we don't have those body language cues that we can sometimes read and interpret to help with those things, and instead just recognise that when you're reacting to somebody, you have your own emotions and they have their own emotions, and sometimes those things don't match, and you can be a bit more careful about how you interpret what other people say to avoid these misunderstandings and these situations where things are not great. Right, 2 more things I wanted to say about this, say about a completely different topic, not related to this at all. Something that Grant Cardone said on the video this morning, just before I wrap up. I should have said happy birthday. Damn, I didn't say happy birthday to Oscar, Karl, Sally, Terry and Joe. Happy birthday to you guys. Hope you have a lovely day today. Sorry, I forgot to say happy birthday to you at the beginning. I haven't done the breathing exercise otherwise. It's funny, I was looking back at my old YouTube videos from the last 3 or 4 days, and anyway, it doesn't matter. Not important. Breathing exercise, I don't always do it. Because somebody said, can I see your breathing exercise? I was like, yeah. And I was trying to find one on one of my recent YouTube channels, and I couldn't find one. So something Grant Cardone said, which I thought was just particularly good, just a bit of information really. If you say to something is not inappropriate, yes, exactly. Yes, very inappropriate, yes, that's right. Exactly, yeah, and I think people should be more honest and open and truthful, and less trying to predict the other person's feelings about things. Anyway, I've just seen a bird flying past with a fish in its mouth. That's quite fun. Yes, exactly. And I do say some things inappropriate a lot of the time, as you probably well know, Wendy, having met me a few times. So yeah, he was saying, if it's not a priority, if you say something that's not a priority, it was quite cool, and I don't know how other people feel about this, so please feel free to comment below. But he said that basically means that you don't think that it will make you money. If you think it's not a priority, then you think it's not going to make you money. Now, obviously, that's not true, because it's like, well, yeah, but there are other things that might make it fun. So I don't think that will be fun, so I'm not going to do it. So I think there's some other sides to it. Obviously, he's talking in a business context, but yeah, if you're not prioritizing work stuff, money-making activities, theoretically money-making activities, then it's the reason being is that you don't think that it will make you money. I think that's really interesting. I never thought of it that way. I like that concept. I'd be interested in other people's thoughts on that below. That would be fantastic. He also said your mind, we've heard this expression, your mind is like a parachute. It has to be open for you to survive. And he said yes, but it doesn't need to. It has to be open, but not too wide open that you're listening to absolutely everybody, and therefore it collapses and then you die. And I haven't looked this up yet, but I thought it was quite a cool concept, because I think I'm right in saying that if you're like a human being, there's a certain canopy size which is right for you as a human to slow you down, and if the canopy is too small, you'll fall too fast, and if it's too big, it'll self-collapse because the weight below it is not enough to pull to fill the canopy up properly, and so it'll start doing this thing where it sort of flops and wops and then collapses anyway. So I think that's true. If the canopy is too big, it will also collapse and you will die. So I think that's quite cool as well, that if your mind is too open, it'll also collapse and die, which is a kind of cool idea as well. Right, that's all from me for now. I want to wrap up because I've got to get back. Just said, poor wireless connection, we disconnected you. I haven't moved. I've been sitting in the same spot for ages. What was I saying? Gosh, I've forgotten now. Oh yes, I've got a meeting at 9 o'clock, and I wanted to get back and be showered and dressed and everything before 9 o'clock today. But a couple of things happened. I had to have that text conversation with my friend, and now everything's slightly delayed. Right, that's all from me. Take care of yourself. Do the little breathing exercise. Why not? And then say happy birthday to everybody. That's not going to stick there, is it? As we discovered earlier on. Right, little breathing exercise is. No, tell you what. You know what? I'm going to walk. No, I've got to end it. Haven't I? Okay, let's go. Okay, little breathing exercise. Blow out your candle. 5 in through your nose. Hand on your heart. Light the candles on your left hand while you're holding your breath. Blow out the candles on your cake. Wish yourself a happy birthday, because today is the first day of the rest of your life. There you go. A little breathing exercise for you. Right, that's all from me. Did the happy birthday stuff. Oh, love. Didn't do the love thing. Oh, God. Sending you loads of love. There you go. Mwah. Bye for now. Take care. Got a long run home. Bye.